Okay, so in this video, we are going to look at building on a hill or on a slope versus building on a flat land in Ghana. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of building on a hill versus building on a slope? What are my personal experiences and what are your personal experiences? All in 30 minutes coming up next. Okay, so for us, we've built on hills and then we've also built on flatlands. For ourselves at Africa Building Hub, the entire community, Patrick has built on a flatland, I've built on a hill. And then for our subscribers also, we built for some subscribers, mostly on flatlands. And so that tells me, even from the onset, that a lot of people prefer to build on flatlands than they prefer to build on a hill. And so let's look at some of the advantages of building on a hill. I know, like before we even continue, comment and let me know which one do you prefer. Do you prefer to build on a flat land or do you prefer to build on a hill and why? Now, when it comes to buying land, there are a lot of things that people consider, right? People consider the price, the location, the proximity to essential services like police stations, schools, supermarkets, hospitals, and things. But do you really consider if it's in the right price range? Let's say your budget is 50,000 Ghana cedis. And then if the location is also right, let's say you wanted to buy land at Kwabenya for whatever reason, right? And then your budget is 50,000. And you saw an advert for land at Kwabenya for 50,000 Ghana cedis. Would you consider that in Kwabenya, there's a part where it's on a slope or a hill, and then there's a part where it's on a low lying ground, like a flat area? Does that really matter? Or once it's within that location and the price is right, you don't really care? Comment below and let me know. Again, comment where you're watching from. It's really important to know and connect with the community of Africa Building Hub so that we know where everybody is watching from. All right, so with that said, for me, I have built a house personally. My first house was on a hill and it has its advantages. So let me give you the first one. I know a lot of people might disagree, but we are just sharing our opinions. The first one is the view that you get when you build on a hill or on a slope is just amazing. Last year, I organized like a birthday party for my mom at Peduase, and Peduase is like close to a brie. I don't know if you know Ghana properly, but you climb up the hill, and when you get there, you can literally see the whole of Accra. The view is just amazing. It's breathtaking. And for me, I'm somebody who really admires nature, and I like seeing, the beautiful mountains, the hills, waterfalls, and things like that. So when I see these kind of things, like it gives me a certain peace and a certain sense of relaxation. And imagine you build a house, and when you get home, the ambience, like the view you get, it's enough to bring your blood pressure down. I don't know if you get me, but for me, those are the things that really excites me and make me very, very happy and content that you've come home at the end of a very hard, tiring working day, and the view from your balcony is just amazing. Those things really matter to me. And I know it's a bit like therapeutic as well for some people. I don't have any scientific proof to back this, but I feel like it has maybe some healing properties. And talking about healing and health, a lot of people in Accra, where I live, travel, like they drive their cars from Dansoman, Labadi, etc., to a place called like Ayimensa. And then when they park their cars at Ayimensa, they climb the hill to Peduasi and Ebri, like they walk. Okay, some people jog, and they do it like on Saturdays, holidays, and things like that. And it's also like very good exercise. It's good for the heart and everything, right? So imagine people driving those long distances. These are like 16 kilometers, 20 kilometers just to come and exercise. If you are living on a hill, even when you are building and you need to go and supervise the project, you are definitely going to be exercising. Like every time you park your car, you climb up, you'll be exercising. Like myself, when I was putting up my building project, I would literally park my car a very long distance away because the road was a bit rocky and all that, and I didn't want to, suffer with my shock absorbers and things. So I'll park like, let's say, 5 kilometers away, and then I'll climb the hill every single Saturday. I go to supervise the project, and when I climb the hill and I sweat and I go home and I bath, I feel so strong. I feel so refreshed. And whenever I take friends or people, artisans, to the site, right, so to go and either look at it or give me an estimate for something, they will come back, they'll be panting, they'll be sweating, and I'll be working normally. And it's because I've been doing it for a while. So for me, that health and exercise aspect is really good. And still talking about like the health and exercise aspect of building on a slope or on a hill, right? You notice that generally the air on a hill tends to be cleaner. I don't know. I don't have any scientific like instrument to measure this, but if you can relate, comment and let me know. It tends to be cleaner. Like when you breathe in pure air, clean air, you can tell than when you move to the busy populated areas in the flat areas, right? And that's because a lot of people do not prefer to build on a hill because it's kind of expensive, and we'll get to that in a bit. And so these hilly, mountainous areas are very less populated, very less prone to traffic and pollution and all that. And the air is generally cleaner. You also get better ventilation when you're on a hilltop and all that. And even it tends to rain more on the hilly side than the side which is not on the hill. I don't know for whatever reason. Like sometimes, right, I'll be coming home from work and the whole place will be dry. But when you get to where I live, which is on a hill, Charlie, you will see that it has rained. It has rained. The ground is so wet. And many times I'll be there and I'll be saying, Charlie, it's raining here. And everybody else in town is saying, what rain are you talking about? You know, so it tends to rain more. The temperature is really cool. The breeze is cool. You don't use a lot of air conditioning and all these things. And for me, those things are really important. Being clean, being green, energy saving, really, really important to me. The pollution and all that. Charlie, you also notice that people who live like on the hill tend to live longer. Like you would see somebody who is like 80, 90, 100 years, they'll be living, they'll be working, no walking stick, no sicknesses and things like that. If you want some of the oldest people who are in Ghana, when you go to Peru, I hear there's somebody who is like 120 years, 130 years, and they are there. They are there playing. People are 90, people are 100, etc. Right? And so for me, that's one of the really, really important things that I look out for when it comes to living on the hill. Then again, like I said, not a lot of people can afford to live on a hill. So the quality of neighbors you're even going to get within that area are going to be good people, as opposed to like a place where it's on a playing ground and anybody literally can just buy land and start building, right? So anybody at all. But on a hill, you need to have a certain amount of money to be able to build there. And so for me, I feel the quality of people who live there are even more important to me as well. And then again, when you build on a hill, flooding is not something that you really concern yourself about. Like flooding for real, like on a hill, you don't think about flooding. As your neighbors who are in the valley downstream, like on the plain lands, that are going to experience flooding. Like every year when it rains heavily between the months of May to July in Accra, Ghana, there's floods. You never hear the people on the hill talking about flood, right? So for me, those are some of the very strong reasons why I prefer to live on a hill. Obviously, there are disadvantages. I would come to the disadvantages very soon. But comment also if you've built on a hill or you have land on a hill and what the experience is about. So talking about some of the views, right? These are some of the views that you see when you purchase land on a hill or you build on a hill. You can literally see like acres and acres around you from your house, and it's just beautiful and it's just amazing. Now, also, I want us to look at like building on playing ground, like the advantages of building on the playing ground. But if you are enjoying the content so far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, right? Because it helps us really to know the kind of content you like. And again, as you are watching, you can suggest any type of content that you prefer. Okay. So with that said, let's talk about building on like a playing ground. So this is a project we did for one subscriber. In fact, there are two subscribers who bought like two plots and then they divided it, right? So we started with the first plot. And the excavation process is very, very easy, right? You just dig, and most of the grounds or soil on the plain areas, flat areas, they are not very rocky. You can just start the excavation easy, like everything is smooth. And so overall, it's cheaper, it's faster, and also those lands are more accessible, right? As opposed to building on a hill. Building on a plain flat area, you get the sand tracks, the stone tracks, you get the laborers, you get all the materials. It's easy to transport. You yourself, when you are going to the site, your car can go really easily, right? As opposed to like when you're on a hill, you need a very strong car. Maybe you need a pickup, you need like a car with good shock absorbers to climb the hill, to descend. Sometimes the rocky nature, you need like very robust cars and things. But if you are building on a plain surface, you don't need to worry about anything like that. And that for me is really, really important. Then the next advantage of building on a hill, right, on a plain ground, which is also really, really good for me, is the fact that apart from accessibility and how easy it is to start, again, like it's just nice, right? Because the land over there to tend to be cheaper. Sometimes you can even get the soil. You can get a soil that you need straight from the site. So we went to a land, right, and this is a land which is on a plain ground. There are no rocks, there are no stones. And all this sand, people even wanted to come and then like fetch the sand and go and sell from the land. And anyways, this land is available for sale. We did a whole interview on it. It's in Old Ningo and it's close to the seaside. It's going for 100 to 120,000 Ghana cedis. So I'm going to link that video at the end of this video. I'm going to leave it in the comments or in the description for those who will be watching the replay if you're interested in buying land in Ghana. And it's nice. Like when you're excavating, it's cheaper as opposed to Charlie building on a hill. So let's go tell the disadvantages of building on a hill. The first one, I think I've alluded to it a lot. Clearing the land alone to build is crazy expensive. So, like I said, we've built on plain surfaces and then we've built on hills. For like, if you're estimating or comparing the cost of excavation, like when you bring a backhoe or an excavator, once they see the terrain and they see the slopy nature, they can just charge you like 2 to 3 times what it will cost you to excavate a plain ground. And again, the plain ground, you can even dig your foundation and everything, clear the bushes and trees which are on the property or on the land, and then use the backhoe to even do your excavation for your foundation. But for the hill, Charlie, is crazy. I remember when I was working on my building project and I wanted to do certain excavations, Charlie, the cost was so much and the time it was taking was so much that at a point I told them, do just a certain portion and then the rest I'm going to like use it for a garden because for them to clear, like, when you start, the slope is very gradual, then it becomes very steep. I said just pile all the materials and all the sediments in one area. I'm going to use that part for a garden. Like I couldn't afford it any longer. It was becoming too expensive. And it's the same when you are digging the foundation. If it's human beings who are digging it, they are going to be charging you like 2 to 3 times what they would charge you for digging the foundation of a plain surface. And so everything just increases by multiple factors. Again, accessibility. Like when I'm even ordering for water to come to site, when you tell them the location, no, you say, hey, chairman, no, no, no. Either one, they can't go, or two, you need to pay a premium for them to go. When you are sending cement, you are sending blocks, sand. The moment they ask, is it the one on the hill? You say yes, no, Charlie. You know that they are coming to increase the cost. I remember when I went to purchase tiles, right? When we reached the tiling stage of the building project, I purchased it at West African Tile and Deco at Achimota. And then he asked where the building project is, and I told him, and he gave me an estimate for the cost of transportation. He said it's going to take 800 Ghana cedis. Even that 800, I said, nah, Charlie, it's too much. It's crazy. 800 cedis within Accra. Then when we got to the place and he saw the way Charlie his car or his truck had to be going over the rocks and things, a man said he would take an extra 200 Ghana cedis because, like, the place to drive, it's like you are driving on rocks, no sand, stones. You're just driving on rocks and stones. And that has been the story throughout the process of building to the end. Any material you are transporting, even the laborers, when they are coming and they see, so you, hey boss, Charlie, this is your place there. You've tried though. Building on such a rocky, hilly ground, and it's really, really, really challenging. Now, I'm sharing some of the videos so that you can see, like, even if you look at the property, you can see the stones and the rocks on the ground. And even when you are drilling like a borehole and everything, it is still very, very difficult for you to do it. Like, it's not cheap. That's the point I'm making. It's not cheap. It is super, super, super expensive. And that is the first one. Now, the second thing that you need to do for you to be able to put it like in a form where your heart will be happy to live on is you need to do landscaping, you need to do excavation. Not just excavation of where the property is going to be, but like if you want the land to look nice, you'll be doing landscape, you'll be doing terracing, you'll be doing retaining walls. Those are some of the things that you will not bother if you are building on a plain surface, right? And these things are expensive. Retaining walls, to do it properly, is expensive. Landscaping, expensive. Terracing, expensive. So if you don't have money or you're a bit on a low budget, I'll probably advise that you go for like the land which is on the plain area than going for the one on the hill. Even the hill one, you see, there's the one where, let's say, you climb upwards to get into your house. Then there's the one that you descend into your house. I don't know if you can relate. All of them present unique challenges. If you are descending, what do you need to do? Sometimes you need to even go and get like filling material to try and get the land to a certain level surface before you can do a lot of things on it, like parking. If you want to do a pool and all that, obviously you cannot do a pool and then the pool is sloping and all that. Like, there are so many factors to consider when it comes to building on a hill. And I hope you are finding value in this video. If you are finding value in this video, please be hitting the like button. Let me also pause and then read some of like your comments, because it's really important to me to be able to read your comments. I know that I'm not just talking to my camera, I'm not just talking to myself, right? So in a minute, I'm just going to read some of your comments. All right. Like button. Let me also pause. So I see there are like 30 to 40 people, but we have only 6 likes. Please be liking the live so that I see that you guys are enjoying the video. All right. So the next thing about, building on a hill or on a slope is challenges of erosion. Goodness, you are going to face it. Though you are not going to face the flooding, you're going to face the erosion because of the slopy nature of the soil. And so again, you may need to be doing some concrete casting, compound works, and all these things. Charlie, it's a lot of money. So myself, like this, I had to do compound works like concrete casting. And this thing wasn't cheap. It cost me like 30 to 40,000 just to do this that you are seeing, because like clearing the land and excavating the compound, right? If you do it and you don't start the concrete casting immediately, especially when it's in the rainy season, oh, you start seeing gutters forming on your land. So here you are seeing the nature of the land, right? You are seeing the way I had to push all the soil and rocks and stones to a side and then create like a retaining wall just to hold all the particles and all the stones and all the sand. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. And these are things that somebody may not tell you. And so I decided to take the pain to tell you about all these things. Now, this is when the excavator or backhoe came to do the excavation. And like I'm saying, because it's a hilly area with a lot of rocks, they will charge you an arm and a leg. However, for the playing ground, it's just pretty straightforward and then you are going ahead. Now, if you're enjoying, please like this video, share it, subscribe. We are going to be closing pretty quickly today, so if you have any questions, I want you to share them. And then also, if you have any suggestions for any kind of content that you want us to create this year 2024, we are going to be doing this live session every Sunday, God willing, at 9 p.m. Today I said 8, but unfortunately we couldn't start on time. So please accept my apologies. And with this, I bring today's video to an end. Is there any disadvantage of the plain land I haven't spoken about? The fact that you experience a lot of flooding, right? And then also the opposites, right? So ventilation, pollution, everybody can just come and build there and all that. You don't really get an amazing view. Somebody who is on a story building can just look into your house. So many disadvantages, but then it's easier to start. So let me know your thoughts. Are you building on a hill? Are you building on a plain surface? What has the experience been like? Comment below and let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Bibre. So I'm going to reserve the last 4 minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, please share and I'll be sure to answer all of them. Or if you share them later, I'm going to make a follow-up video. Salome Suglo Tete says, good evening from, I think this is Spain, right? Good evening, Salome. I hope you are doing well. Happy New Year. How's your year going? Are you building? If you haven't, why not? If you are building, how is it going? Is it on a playing ground? Is it on how do you call it? On a hill or slope? Let me know. And I wish you all the very best in your building project. Leave all your thoughts and suggestions for video content that you want to see. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to cover those in the next video. So any questions, last 2 minutes reserved for questions. If not, we are going to end the stream. I will see you, God willing, next week. Thanks, Bibre.